Hello. Woo. There we go. Getting everything all settled. Feeling. There we go. So you guys can hear me. You can hear me. How's everyone doing today? Come on in. Let's put some lipstick on. Add some color onto this face. There we go. Is that a good color? Doesn't seem bright enough. Doesn't seem bright enough. Let's see. I have all these lipsticks here. And choosing the one. I do. I have a lot of lipstick. I love lipstick. Lipstick is the one thing that if I'm ever stranded, I want lipstick. You can look like shit and then you put lipstick on and it's just like, wow! Just pumps it all up. That's what it does. It pumps it all up. So, how is everyone doing today? Do you have your lipstick on? Are you ready for the day? Good color. Thank you, Erica. I need you guys counseling me as I'm putting my makeup on in the morning and putting things together. So I feel it's today it is there's quite a bit of energy coming in, and how a lot of it is on one side of the chart, like one side, it's sitting over on one side, and then there's nothing over here. And when we have that, like even when I see it in somebody's chart, it's like an all or nothing. And it's an all or nothing energy. It has to be this way. It has to be this way. You have to do it this way. And right now we have the crust on either side of this energy. And it is with Capricorn and Taurus. So we have the earthy energy on either side. And in between are all the fillings of it. And within this filling, we're wanting to define our lives. And we have Mars, and Venus is in between Mars and Saturn. Now, I mean, this girl has gone through a lot of shit. I mean, she has gone retrograde in Capricorn. She's had Mars on top of her for months. And, then she had to meet up with Pluto 3 times, which is like, dealing with the god of the underworld, having conversations on what to do, where to go, how to get going forward. And now she's past Mars, but there's Saturn. There's the god of karma in Aquarius. So here it is this web of everybody, of our, this is our society. That's Aquarius, is our society. It's a web, right? But it is finding that uniqueness of who we are within that web and embracing that uniqueness, embracing that part of who we are in amongst this energy that is like these two malefics that are kind of like the ugly bad guys. And here she is, and she's with Juno, and they want something. They want to have the satisfaction now. They want to feel good now. I want it now. I don't want it later. I'm tired of dealing with this bullshit. I'm tired of all of this. I want everything now. And that's where the energy is. And I could feel it within my own self. So this is a disconnected, confusion, isolation, overwork, upset, all of this coming in. And this is what we're dealing with this week. And as we're going, as we're moving along, and we're all realizing and not running, and we're not, it's like running away, not running away, and clearing out and getting a fresh sheet of paper. That's how, when I heard that being explained about this week, I went, yes, getting a fresh sheet of paper to focus. You can't focus on too much stuff. The thing is about Aries. Aries is the beginning of the new year. It is springtime. It is 000. Springtime's here. Here we go, baby. It is Aries season. This is a celebration. We have the sun in Aries, and the sun is exalted. It loves to be here because it's a fresh start. It's fresh. It is one of the two places for Aries, or for the sun, is in Aries and Leo. It loves to be there. It loves to be exalted. Here it is. And here we have this energy that says, here's a fresh sheet of paper. What do you want to put on that sheet of paper that's your priority? There's a lot of shit a lot of shit for the last, I would say, 3 years. A lot of stuff that we've gone through. I mean, 2019 was a prelude to setting us up for 2020, getting us prepared, our preparedness, our prepping. And then we set into the 2020 to 2020 to the beginning of this year. We can't even consider 2021 or going from 2020 to 2021, because I remember telling people, I said, this year it's like it's continual. Nothing has changed. It's a continual force. So when we started 2021, it was like, oh, I don't even feel anything new. We're still in the same bullshit as we were, but they're giving us more stuff. Now we're in 2022 and we want it easier. We want it fairer. We want things. We want adjustments. We want to. We want things to move in a new way. But we can't dismiss our past. We can't dismiss things that have happened in our past. We can't dismiss all that shit. All right? It's to understand it and references and put it there. It's there. It's fine. I'm going to put it up there. We can't, this is a time of writing things out. What is my priority? And the Aries needle, this is like, when we look at the Aries as a needle on a record player, it is that needle that starts to play all those grooves. You see, the thing is about a record, and if anybody remembers what an LP is, a record, when you put that needle down and it has that sound, that sort of etchy sound, and then it starts to play that song that we're or we push it or we can move it to where we want to go. The thing is that the Pisces and the Aquarians are the grooves in the record. Aries needle drops in and sends out that message, sends it out, and the sound. And this is us to, that we just want to throw shit out. We want to throw it all out. But we got to look on what we have come from, the core things that are important to us. And we are dealing with some major planets in between this that are in their home signs. And we're dealing with Pluto at the end of Capricorn, coming to the end of Capricorn. We have Saturn in Aquarius, which is the co-ruler. And then we have Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces, and they are the ruler and co-ruler of Pisces. And in there we have, there's Mercury in there. That's one of our personal planets. And our other two personal planets are with Saturn in Aquarius. That's Mars and Venus. So we have these stelliums that are in between there, which means that there's more than one planet or two planets in a sign. And when we have a stellium in a sign, there's not a lot of room because they're all together. And don't I know it, because I got a huge stellium in my Scorpio sign in the 5th house. There's not a lot of room. It's like, this is the way we're playing the game. This is how we're doing it. And if it's not going right, it's like, inundated with so much other energy. It's kind of like an all or nothing kind of energy or feeling of it. And this is where the outside, the nodes, the feeling, the powerless, that we're acting out in weird ways. We're acting out this life and we're trying to transcend things and put things on shelves and see things as Mars turns on our life. Mars wants to get going. Mars wants to get forward. We want to get going on with our life. We want to start moving in a new way. And this is for us to really start to feel, what does it feel like? We're in a room. Are we feeling hot, cold, indifferent? What is it that we're feeling? And identifying the things. This is an ending and a beginning and the now. And there's ego that comes in because we need the ego. The ego is our identification. Our ego is our name. Our name is our ego. We identify with that name. I talked about names yesterday. To know your name. What is your name? How do you want to be called? Your name is so important because that is your identification. That is you. That is your ego. This is Aries. Aries is the simple stuff. It is not nothing. It's like it's that feeling, spiritual essence, but there's this part of us that we need the identity of the ego of what it is and what is important to us. This is a looking at who we are and stepping into that energy and having our list of really what's my priority right now. Well, there are things on that list that you may have wanted to have, but they're not a priority. People's priority when they have done studies now are changing to have land, to have family and close friends around us, to make sure we have enough. It's not where they found in the last few years where that um, culture of the movie stars and the idolizing of the movie stars, or even having or watching uh, like the Kardashians, those things they're finding are being pushed aside because that's not a priority to people. Beverly Hills wives or whatever, they're not a priority to people. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for real. That's why shows, when you look at different shows or when people are watching, let's say, YouTube, and you get like, I watch a lot to do with chateaus. So when I watch that, it's real life shit. And they're real life people that aren't trying to put on airs of being anything other than who they are. And that's what we are starting to identify with. We're starting to identify with real people. The spiritual, somebody asked me, he's like, is there a spiritual person in the world right now that is going to come out and make a change? And I'm like, no, there isn't one person, although many are trying to claim it. But there isn't one person that's coming out to here I am, I'm here to save. And that was so much that the spiritual element or world that says, I am the person, I'm the one who knows. Follow me, do what I want, do as I say, not what I do, kind of thing. But that energy that's coming in is that spiritual, going back to the Aquarius, is that unique individual person who's allowing themselves to stand in that uniqueness and allowing their light to shine in this web of our society, in the web of all the others that are around. And that's where that uniqueness is. And that's where the creativeness of the positivity of our ego. And then coming in and looking at this new sheet of paper, this new list on what is your priority. We're coming into tax season. So maybe taxes are your priority right now. Maybe it's something to do in our house, it's health. Getting ourselves healthier, and especially my husband, helping him to get back on track so that he's able to feel more in aligned with himself. But it is a rewiring of his brain. It is looking at, that part of the brain that got hit with the stroke that is having to rewire and the frustration that comes from that. So now we have to reprioritize because there's things in our life that we thought were going in a certain way are no longer going in that way. That's not our priority anymore. And if it has to go, it has to go. As much as we want to hang on to it. I remember years ago, and I was so fixated or frustrated because of my cell phone. It had to do with the cell phone. And having this cell phone was it's my business. I can't lose it. I can't lose it. It's da, 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 da. And I'm like, at the end of the day, what is my priority? I look back at that and I look back and thinking about it, and it you start to really see the truth of where your priorities are. And when something traumatic happens in your life or a change happens in your life, it really gets you to look at the truth of it all. Now we're finding that priority isn't really getting a new TV when you have a TV that already works. Buying the bigger, better house is not the priority for people. That is where the energies are coming in, and some people might be alluded to it because they're still fixated on their ego, on the part of the ego that has to have more and more and more, because that's what we were raised on. That's what, we were told. But now we are being shown that no, that's not where it's at. The truth is coming into what is important. What is that priority? And where do you want to focus that priority on? And this is where, even for myself, when I look at the humbling that has happened within just 3 weeks, it's only been 3 weeks. And they're telling us we got like at least, maybe another 5 weeks of, physio and stuff coming into the home. And from there, it's not over, because from that 5 weeks, we start to just back into to where we need to go, or back into that life, back to work scenario. But we can't focus on that yet. We got to come back and focus on the now and focus on what is that priority of where we are. And this is where we might be feeling, where you want to be seen, or, there's a part where it's like people are wanting to be seen. They're wanting to have it all. They're wanting, with that Piscean energy coming in, it's like God, come and fix everything. Angels come in and swoop everything. I want everything fixed. I want everything done now. And my thought came to, when I was thinking of that, and I was watching the Vikings, I think it was the Viking show, and she was like, all I want to do is hear God's word. I just want to hear God's voice. Tell me, after all what I have gone through, I want to hear God's voice. And I was listening to her, and I'm just like, yeah, that's, I got into a place where, like, where did we misinterpret the word of what Jesus came in to tell us? Where did we come in to put him in such a way that we were able to feed our ego? And I thought, I don't know how to explain it. It's like that identity of when people say, well, it's in the name of God, this is what we're doing. We're doing this in the name of God. We are justified in the name of God. And I'm like, where did it say that God wanted us to do it that way? Where was that manipulation that came in? And I'm, looking at this energy, and with all this Piscean energy, it is kind of like that energy of like, no, God, I want God to have this way. I want it all. I want all of this energy. I want all the ecstasy and all of this, whatever, to make me feel good, to make me stronger, it is that pumped up ego. It is the 12th sign. It's where everything comes into, and it wants it all. And then you come into that first sign, Aries, where it's like, okay, we got to redefine this of what is the importance of your life. What is the importance of who you are? What is it that you want to bring in as your priority? And the reason, this is looking in where it's like our priority right now is not only health, keeping our roof over our head, and food on our table. It's so basic. It's like, if other things have to go, well, they can be replaced, and they will be replaced in time. This is where it's amazing how, on a switch of a dime, how things can change so dramatically. And this is the reset, that reset button. And we're having to have this reset. And in having that reset, it is that sensitivity that's coming in of maybe not wanting to put the reset button on, afraid to do the reset. It's that feeling of letting go or giving up. Are you letting go or giving up? That giving up is like, fuck it all, I'm not doing it, blah, blah, blah. But letting go is like, you know what? I'm pressing the reset because it's time to let go. It's time to let go of the things. It's time to let go of that cell phone. It's time to let go of the parts of us that are not in alignment at this time and not serving us. And it could be of letting go of many different things. It could be of a person, place, or thing. And it's time to move forward from that. And this is where we don't want to create what we call the psycho dreams, where we put all the emphasis on, the psycho dream of, oh my God, if I don't have the cell phone, my business is going to die, and I'm blah, blah, blah. And I can't do this and I can't do that because I don't have this. I'll never have it again. That's a psycho dream. And running on that old script. So we got to stop and we got to focus. And the Saturn and Mars is focus and challenging you. Focus, this is focusing. You can focus on too much bad or too much good, but this is the intense theme of realizing at the same time not to give up. It's not to give up, but to do the reset. There's a lot of shit this last year and the year before. And even, and this was a year of not so much of resetting, but asking to have to put forward the choices and the things of the highest quality. And that's part of the resetting ourselves. What is it that when we look at what is the highest quality, and that is Taurus, and that's Uranus in Taurus, that's the moon right now is in Capricorn. It doesn't like to be there. It is looking at things. It's in detriment, and it's going to be squaring the sun in Aries and saying, what is it that you want to illuminate of your highest priorities, of what is important to you? And in doing that and setting up this new piece of paper, what am I bringing over? Things that are not viable, things that I can't control at this time, and giving it up and letting it go, finding a new way. Where are the areas? And sometimes this sucks. This sucks to let go and show up with a new piece of paper, getting, and not getting caught up through the stress of it all. This is where I feel that 2019 led us into the 2020 and letting go and pushing them away. So to bring me positively to where I need to go. And sometimes I might feel like this is lonely, or I might feel elusive, or it's the boat sailing out on the empty sea of the horizon or of the heavens. And this is where we need to, coming into those sometimes extreme feelings of restriction, where we're feeling restricted because we're looking at those new things that we have to put on the sheet, and we're feeling like, oh my God, I'll never have that new TV. My life is over. I'll never have that house. Oh God, I got to let go of that car, or I got to let go of that relationship, or whatever it is. And I'll never have another love in my life. That's part of the psycho dream that's coming in that we have to, look at and step back. And it might seem so intense and so overwhelming. And we're just like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. But that's where the surrender comes in. The surrendering with the South Node in Scorpio. And that's why the moon doesn't like to be in Scorpio, because Scorpio goes out and looks at, where else can I get help? Where else? And then with that Saturn, and I've learned this, Saturn in Aquarius, where do I need to trim? Where do I need to let go? Because that's what it's asking you. You can't be the 10 of Wands and carrying everything up the hill by yourself and trying to do it all and trying to have all of these great priorities of what it is that you want. It's like having that beautiful peach tree or plant that you have, but it's not going to bear fruit the first year. It's going to take maybe a couple years, and you just have to tend to it. You're not going to abandon it, but you're going to tend to it. You're going to prune it. You're going to water it. You're going to fertilize it so it can have the nutrients and what it needs to grow. And this is where we're at. We're at this place where letting go isn't what we might have to do with some things. But it's not an easy task. We know that. But this is where, looking at where are we asking too much of ourselves? This is the fixing and repairing. But we can't be fixing things that don't work. If it's not working, it's not working. It comes down to a point of saying, you know what? I got to just let it go. And I've had to do that many times in my own life. And I looked back to 2017 was such a transformational year for me. It was a year that brought back a lot, a lot of for what I had to face within my own self, and where I really had to let go of something that was so important to me. But I had to release it. And I had to release it, and knowing that it's not my path to hold it up or keep it on anymore. It's my path to let it go and allow that person to deal with their path and how they want to deal with it. And that was traumatic, and that was hard, and that was deep cutting to the soul, to even losing our home again and having to say, you know what? God has another plan for me. And I have to trust. And I got to put down what my priorities are at this time. And I'm here again, 5 years later, having to look at those priorities on what is important in our lives and what do I need to put forward, and having faith in God, because He's at a higher pay grade than I am. He has things on the other side of the curtain that I don't know of, and I may not understand at this time, but it's not for me to understand or know. It is for me to trust in that plan, to trust in what is being unfolded. And that is not only for myself, but that is for many of us, all of us on this earthly walk that we are all going. Every single human being right now is looking at their priorities of what they have to focus on and go forward with. It's not an easy feat. And there's triggering feelings, and some is not making sense. So don't take on anything that you can't take on. Don't let that guilt and shame and blame overtake you, because there are parts that certain things you can't take care of. Found that out yesterday. There were some big things that came across and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't put my priorities there. I have to let it go. And I'm finding that more and more of what I have to let go of. And it is a big shot to my ego. It really is. And it's bringing in, sometimes that blame and everything comes in. I should have done this. I could have done this. Why didn't I do this better? Why wasn't I planning, more for this? Why was, ah, you know, going around chasing my tail. But we have these two big stallions that are going on. And when I look at this, it kind of helps me to put things into perspective. And 6 planets in 2 houses. That's fucking a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of energy that we are having to deal with. And it is looking at, with Uranus and Taurus, that we can't be a part of that whole thing. And that is okay. I got to get done what I can only get done and put my emotions where they need to go. Business needs to do what it needs to do, and whatever that identity is to that. And looking at, if I have to restart, regain, won't be the first time. This is coming up with some big time energies, with Neptune sextiling the nodes and Saturn squaring the nodes. Things are extremely sensitive, and we're, this disconnecting spiritually, and we're kind of in that in between real crazy realities of energies. And I can't take on what I can't take on. We can't take on what we can't take on and put it on overload. This is where the trimming comes in. And with that sun and moon, they're in cardinal, they're in fire and earth. and this is what my needs are, my identity. What am my identity? What is my identity and what are my needs? And sometimes when it comes to Taurus energy, and we're looking back at Uranus and Taurus, it takes time. Taurus doesn't move fast. It will build on what it needs to build and know what it needs to build on. Aries allows you to identify what it is and that importance of what it is that you need to identify and put it into that priority. And this is bringing in a lot of sensitivity. And this, with that South Node Scorpio, I gotta say, it can get dark really fucking fast. And that darkness can come in and pull us down. But this is a part where you might feel like you're ghosting or somebody's ghosting you. And this energy is not showing. And I can only take care of what I can take care of now. That's it. South Node Sag. South Node Scorpio. I can only take care of what I can take care of now. And that's why sometimes people, feel like maybe I am ghosting them, but I'm not. But this is not, sometimes, being squished, as Venus is, she's being squished in between these two big guys and looking at, I need for myself, I need for myself. What do I need for myself at this time in order for me to get going forward? And others might look at you and say, oh, that's selfish, that's greedy. But it's like, being selfish and greedy for myself in order for me to get through what I need to get through at this time is the most important thing. And in doing so, I can only put out so much energy to helping or doing what I need to do for others. That's it. And I got to honor that. And same with you. You guys have to honor that within your own selves. And this is where, this is a very weird chart that's coming in, but to get with and what you can deal with and what's important is where it's heading. So get your list out, get your fresh piece of paper and put down what it is that your priorities are. Is it okay? I got to get my taxes in order. Well, okay, your priorities of getting your taxes in order. I know some people that were like, oh my God, I haven't done my taxes in 5 years. And I learned from a very young age with my father, who is a Leo, and had a lot of Capricorn energy with him too. Was no, you got to put your priorities first. At least with taxes, I learned that from him. And this is, don't get too fixated on thinking God's going to come in and fix everything. The angels are going to come and swoop down and fix it all. They're there to help to guide us, for us to have faith in how the road is being played out for us and allowing us to take one step at a time and going into this. Aries, what is the most important thing I need right now? What is important to you? And looking at that importance, and we have to look at that and to fix them, not to get too fixated. So we're figuring things out, and people are figuring things out in the world. And as I said, there's a huge things going on behind the curtain, and we don't know what they are. And that's fine. But that's not where we want to be fixated on. That's above our pay grade, as I say. And with that South Node in Scorpio, knowing it's not all black and white. That's Scorpio. It's not all black and white. And that the plant may not be producing seeds right now, but it still needs to be tended to. There's still things that need to be tended to. So this is where we are, having to look at our lives in a new way and looking at what it is our true priorities are and putting them down. And the things that we can't, okay, let's put them on the shelf for now. They'll get tended to when they need to, or if they need to, or if they are meant to go at this time, and allowing them to go. So today is kind of a day of looking at your own priorities on what you need to do. And Uranus is saying to keep moving forward with what you can tend to and looking at what it is that you can tend to. So everything will find its place. Focus on what you can. And that's the most important thing to do at this time. Sending you guys out so much love for today and allowing for the Lord and the Lady to watch over and bless each and every one of you in all that you say and all that you be and all that you do. Allow your light to shine. There's some crazy stuff that is unfolding for us at this time. And you know what? I'm going to tend to what only I can tend to. And I want you to do the same for you and your family and your friends and what your priorities are. Have a blessed day, and we will talk to you guys all tomorrow. Thank you for being a part of my community. Thank you for all your support and all your love, wishes, and prayers. Blessings to you all. Bye-bye.